What is up, guys? Welcome back to the Wrestling Biz Buzz live here on YouTube. Make sure to like, comment, share and subscribe down below. First, before I start off with this live reaction, just want to point out the bottom left corner you'll see a little annotation. This will take you to my first ever Q&A video. Basically, if you have any questions, comment them in that video and I'll answer them next week. With that being said, today we're going to take a look at another live reaction. Now bear in mind, I am getting better at these live reactions. I've gotten a lot of hate. Again, it's YouTube. You gotta be used to the fucking a lot of hate, but whatever. This is gonna be 10 best wrestling jobbers ever. With that being said, let's do this.
Professional wrestling is, at its heart, a story of winners and losers. For every groundbreaking, era-defining figure such as Stone Cold Steve Austin or John Cena or the Yeti, there lies a trail of victims in their wake. Most admittedly have had their moment in the sun. But what about the losers that never win? I'm Jack from whatculture.com. For some reason they thought I was most suitable to do the voiceover for this video. I don't know why, but you're watching the 10 biggest jobbers in WWE history. At number 10 we're starting off with an Attitude Era classic, SmackDown's #1 announcer, Funaki. It's quite sad for Funaki to be included on this list actually, because he comes from a background of both shoot style and lucha libre training. Can you imagine being Funaki? You just get the call from WWE, you think you're going to go over and be a huge star, and then Vince goes, no, and then he finds out that his gimmick is to cut off parts of people's anatomy and occasionally shout "Indeed" into a microphone. It hasn't worked out all bad for Funaki. He did win a championship at one point, much like I did. He captured the Cruiserweight Championship from Spike Dudley at Armageddon 2004. I'm sure that was a brutal matchup. At number 9, it's everyone's favourite alcoholic beverage, Tom Delicious Brandy. Now Brandy's quite unique on this list. He's one of the first men ever to be explicitly referred to as a jobber on live television. I can't imagine what it's like to be renowned as a jobber. I can't imagine that being your whole character. Must be annoying. His most notable feud was with Mark Mero for the services of Sable. Look how that turned out. And his last act of note was entering at number 3 in the 1998 Royal Rumble match. He didn't make it all the way, but he did last an admirable 12 seconds. At number 8 we've got one of the more modern faces, and a man actually still with the WWE roster. He is, check the footage, well I think, it's Damien Sandow. Now you might be thinking, why is Sandow on this list? He won the Money in the Bank briefcase at one point, he's quite a successful guy. But then if you think on a little bit, you'll remember that he actually failed to cash that in. Now he's one of only 2 men in history to do so, the other being John Cena, but if you think how that's worked out for John, then you'll realise there's still plenty of time for Damien to get those 15 world titles. At number 7 we've got a true old school jobber from a bygone age. Who's that at the door? It's Special Delivery Jones. Did I have to say that line? Now SD Jones must be remembered as one of the true great jobbers. He was a physically imposing babyface. He'd almost beat the heels every time, but always somehow came up short. A true company guy and particularly talented at the art of getting heels over, Jones sadly passed away in 2008. Up next we've got another member of the current roster. It's everyone's favourite one-man southern rock band, Heath Slater. Although most people think of Slater as a jobber now, it's important to remember that he was once part of the Nexus, one of the most revolutionary heel stables that we'd seen in years. Then of course, John Cena happened, wabadoo. Oh, he didn't let them get a single win. Not a single one. Not even Barrett. Not a single win. Not one, John! Since then, Slater's been in a litany of equally impressive stables, including the 3-man band, the Core, and the Social Outcasts. But he also underwent a stint of losing to legends in one-off appearances, including Bob Backlund, Road Warrior Animal, Lita, Rikishi, Scotty 2 Hotty, and this last one might be false, but I think the Yeti. Now at number 5, have you heard of RENE GOULET? I think that's how it's pronounced. Well, clearly I haven't either. It's actually quite a travesty that he isn't one of the most instantly recognisable names linked to the WWE, because he's deeply entrenched in the company's history. He helped blood several rookies who would go on to become legends of the business. I'm not sure if you've heard of them. Ric Flair, for one, and someone called the Iron Sheik. He was also in the first ever WWF match to be televised on the USA Network, where he faced Tito Santana. Clearly Goulet's done a lot, but he's perhaps most remembered as a true jobber, someone who had to get the other talent over, make them look good, and I think we can all agree that's the most important job of them all. Number 4, GILLBERG. Oh, GILLBERG. GILLBERG, real name Dwayne Gill, is of course remembered mainly as the slightly inferior cousin to WCW's Goldberg. Not real cousins, if you couldn't tell. If you thought that for a second, what are you doing? GILLBERG did actually win a title, if you remember. In 1998, he defeated Christian for the Light Heavyweight Championship. and he held on to it for 2 years. What were you thinking, WWE? 2 years? Now, admittedly, he did this through the ingenious tactic of never defending it, but eventually he lost to the king of our hearts, S.A. Rios. Probably should have put him on this list. At number 3, it's a member of the Horowitz triplets alongside Larry and Harry. It's Barry Horowitz. Really? Triplet? I remember Barry, I don't remember. Have you been messing with my script? Although he was mainly known as a heel that would lose to every babyface under the sun in the New Generation era, Horowitz's biggest moment was a surprise victory over Skip of the Body Donners, better known as Chris Candido, and the win was made so much more memorable by the commentary of JR, who screamed "Horowitz wins, Horowitz wins," as Barry celebrated the victory in Sharpe. At number 2, we've got one of the most legendary jobbers in WWE history, Iron Mike Sharpe. Sharpe didn't actually begin his career as a jobber, but as a dangerous heel mid-carder on the receiving end of quite a serious push. He was billed as Canada's greatest athlete. Don't worry, Lance Storm, we still love you. He used heelish tactics and the help of manager Lou Albano to defeat several babyfaces en route to a title shot, which he lost. From then on, it was all downhill, and he made his name as a jobber, but he still enjoyed a fruitful career in Japan, where he actually tagged with Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan, of course, was a heel in Japan, just as he was in WCW and in real life. And finally, it's everyone's favourite. There could only be one. It's Steve Lombardi, the Brooklyn Brawler. This man's my absolute hero. I've modelled my career on him so far here at What Culture. And if you don't know who the Brooklyn Brawler is, you really need to brush up on your jobber knowledge, or jollage. He worked with the WWE in 4 separate decades and didn't win a whole lot of matches during that time. But he does hold a pinfall victory over Triple H, which not many people can say, can they, Booker T? Over 30 years, he fulfilled a variety of roles across the company. He didn't just appear as himself. He was Kim Chi, that's Kamala's handler. He once portrayed Doink the Clown, and he became well known as a popular figure backstage as well. Well, that's all we've got time for. I hope you've enjoyed our look back at the 10 biggest jobbers in WWE.
Right, so guys, we'll leave the video there. Let me know what you think below in the comments. Also check out the top right corner for more videos. Make sure to like, share and subscribe. I'll see you all in the next video.